Okay, so when you are talking about like difficulty understanding the terms, what do you mean?
Like I believe normative social influence, which is like because like you're in a group, you feel the need to comply, like
Okay,
and
okay.
compliance de-individualize, like when you lose your when you lose when you lose your identity when you're part of a group, and then when you go out, like you're yourself again. Like I get confused between the terms a lot, like the
Okay.
definition.
Do you want to go through like the whole thing with the concepts and everything though?
Wait, hold on. I'll go through it. I think I like marked a couple.
Okay.
Um, like bystander, like obedience, um, obedience, like conformity, that, and then bystander intervention, like more like the in-depth part of conformity, like the locus of control,
Okay.
and
How about okay, I'll tell you like what we will be going through, and then you
oh,
can
okay.
tell me whether you want to go through it or you want to skip it.
Oh, okay, can.
Yeah? Okay, so I will just go through like one by one, and then if you want to skip it, you just let me know. Okay?
Okay.
Alright, so the first one that we will talk about is the bystander effect.
Okay.
Alright, do you want to go through this?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. Alright, so what I'm going to do is okay, so first we talk about the keywords. Yeah, what is the difference between bystander intervention and bystander effect or apathy?
Like bystander effect is like people's when people are reluctant to help because they believe that like other people will help instead. So like bystander effect and bystander, aren't they the same thing? Like
Yes,
bystander
yes.
apathy and
Yeah.
bystander effect.
How about
Um,
intervention?
intervention is like that's like it's like whether like it's like whether, like let's say we have somebody that who needs help. It's like whether we choose to, like there's multiple factors that like influences us as to whether we help someone or whether we don't help someone, like situational and personal factors.
Okay, alright, so these are the factors, right? But bystander intervention is basically just when we help others in need. Yeah, so it's stated like in the term itself, bystander intervention is basically when we intervene, right? So
Okay.
when we intervene, we basically help others in need. Okay,
Mhm.
okay, so what case um shows bystander behavior?
uh Miss, what do you mean?
So you know there was a case that was
Mhm.
investigated, um and then it we use this case to show bystander behavior. Do you know what
Oh, it
case?
was like the kitty one. Like I remember
Yeah.
she was walking down a street, and then this guy came and like I think like stabbed her, and then like the guy went back and then stabbed her again afterwards. And like apparently like so many people like saw the attack but didn't call like the police or anything.
Yeah, very good. Okay, so you know the story, right?
Hmm.
Do you also know that this story was debunked?
What, really?
Yeah, okay, so it's actually in your extended reading. So
Hmm.
I think a lot of people don't know about this. That's why I just brought it up. So it's I sent the link in your chat. You can take your time to read
Okay.
through it, yeah?
Okay. I just finished the
Yeah.
like the article, but that's like so crazy.
Yeah, yeah, but I guess at the end of the day, it's good that like we have a story that I guess teaches us to be, I don't know, better bystanders. Yeah. Yeah,
I mean,
but
I think the sources also, I guess, like when even my, I think even my teacher told us, like when we were first like reviewing this topic, that the sources were very like they weren't confirmed. Like that wasn't confirmed. Like he even told us like we don't know like because there weren't any like CCTV or anything like that. They were
yeah, of
only
course.
basing it off like witness testimonies like that,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
what people were saying. And like based on like the other chapters, obviously like witness testimonies itself probably isn't reliable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And also like yeah, because it's not like a lab experiment, right? So we couldn't be sure about everything. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed that
Yeah,
debunking.
that was really like cool.
Alright, so we're going to continue with basically factors. I think you did touch on that a little bit, so can you tell me more about it?
So there are so basically like bystander intervention is like when we intervene a situation. Hold on, let me write that down. We intervene a situation to help others in need or anybody that needs help. And there are two reasons why we might help someone, which is like a personal reason or a situational reason. So like one of the situational like factors is like you know like it's called pluralistic ignorance, and this is like when we react based on what other people in the proximity are doing. So like we don't act on our own like what we think we should do. We just act on what other people are doing. So we just look at what other people are doing and then we'll just follow through with it. Like for example, like this also affects whether we interpret a situation as an emergency or not. And like an example is like everybody starts like there's a fire alarm, and because everyone is running to the exit, you run to the exit also. Like you're just following the crowd. And also pluralistic ignorance, like the logic, like if the crowd is smaller, like there's less people, um we tend to feel more responsible for anything that could happen. So that's why we're more likely to intervene to a situation, because there are fewer people to share the responsibility with. And you'll have that guilt saying like if it was like less people, then you'd have the guilt saying like, oh, why didn't I help? Because like you'd carry the burden more than if it was like a lot of people. And like basically the more people there is, the more will get influenced by the people, and the less people there is, the less likely will get influenced by the people. And the other one is diffusion of responsibility. And this is kind of similar to pluralistic ignorance, but not really. But like basically we will feel like in a situation we will feel less responsible to help somebody when there are other people who could potentially help. And like when so that's why like when we see like some like an emergency situation in in our area, if there are more people around us, we will feel less the responsibility of us to intervene. We won't feel a lot of responsibility to intervene because there are other people to intervene. So we so like so this is like called like diffusing the responsibility onto others, because if there are more people, you're just like, oh, okay, they will help anyways. And basically, like, we'll just think to ourselves like, oh, there are like plenty of people who will help instead, so you won't feel so responsible or so like guilty. And however, like in a smaller crowd, we could feel more inclined to help because there are less people to share the responsibility with. And like if we don't help, then we'll feel guilty. The
But you
last
can hold on, yeah.
oh,
Sorry.
yeah.
So you're not referring to your notes, right?
I'm reading like through sticky notes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Like I have like keywords on my sticky notes.
Okay. Sure.
And basically, then we have the uh next one is um is it okay if I look into my book for this, because I'm not sure what it's called.
Okay, yeah, sure.
um okay, noticing the event. Okay, so basically, like, um when we are in a crowded situation, or when we are in a place where there's a lot going on, we actually, like, we are not attentive to what is happening around us. So like let's if it's really crowded and if there's a lot going on, we just won't care. Like it's just like background noise for us. And because of this, it's because we don't pay attention to what's around us, and we're not attentive. Like it would be less likely for us to notice um a situation, like, or notice an emergency situation. Like for example, like, um oh, another example would be like, if you're rushing, if you are, I don't know, I think that's personal. Like if you're rushing through something, like if you're rushing to, like, let's say you're rushing to get to work, is that considered personal or situational? Like like um like it's crowded and you're rushing, so you're not paying attention to anything because you're late for work. Is that considered a personal factor or like a situational factor?
Um, I think personal, so it depends. But I think because you are talking about noticing the event, right? So I'm not really sure how that's applicable here, because here you are comparing your situation to be you being in a large crowd compared to when you are on your own.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that means that when you are in a group compared to when you are alone in the room.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
um yeah, I'm not really sure how that applies here. Yeah, because you said that like you're rushing, right? So I don't think it will fall under noticing the event.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah.
So when you're
That
talking about noticing the event, you could talk about how in one of the experiments, right? They actually did um put participants in a room, and when they are in a group, they are slower to react and notice smoke from a fire compared to when they were alone in the room. Yeah, so you understand the comparison there.
yeah.
Okay.
But is that like, um I think, no, like, what, like, it's like, this is like a really like subjective question, because I just like thought of it. But um like, what about like like I know, like, for noticing the event, right? Like we tend, or like for diffusion of responsibility and all, why is it like when there is more people, like, is like the present does like the presence of people like affect our, like, what we do? Because like I don't know, like I don't know how to explain it, but it's um like why are like people so relevant? Like I know this is like social influence, so it'd be weird to like ask it, but like why is like the presence of more people like very relevant for us as like human beings
I
in these
guess it
situations?
doesn't really talk. We don't really talk about like how they are relevant, but whether we personally feel responsible to help out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you understand, right?
Yeah. I just like don't know how to like phrase the question because I was thinking like when I read that article, I was like thinking about it,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
Okay. So do you
Okay.
understand my answer?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Very good. All right. So what else? What else? What other factors?
Um. Oh. There's one that's like excuse me. I think. Okay. Yeah, I'm fine. I think there's one. Okay. Like for example, uh, like let's say like okay, someone is getting like attacked. Someone's getting attacked in front of you, right? And sometimes like some people can choose not to help the victim because like they prioritize like the safety of themselves over the safety of the victim. So like they're like, oh, like I need to save myself first because like yeah, like and so depending on the situation, if like it's like the like you see like the victim, right? And you're like, oh, if I help the victim, I'm probably gonna get hurt too. Whereas if I just run away, I'll be safe. But then I won't help the person. So it's like if you know you're gonna get hurt, you will like quickly like not you will choose not to get involved with the situation. Whereas like if you think the situation would not harm you in any way, then you would be more inclined to help the victim.
Okay. So I think you're talking about the cost of helping. Um,
Yeah.
I think that's not necessarily the case. So you're actually looking at whether um, you're looking at whether the cost to the victim is higher
Mhm.
than the cost to yourself. Yeah.
Yeah.
And basically, cost can include time, effort, danger. Yeah. So the higher
Mhm.
the cost to ourselves, the less likely we are to help. However, like I said, right, if the cost to the victim is higher than the cost to ourselves, then usually we will help. And I guess this is usually very often to avoid
Mhm.
guilt. Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Wait, wouldn't that be like personal factor because you feel guilt?
um
Like
so this is basically situational because
Mhm.
it boils down to the environment because it's
Mhm.
whether the cost to the victim is higher than the cost to ourselves. Yeah, so it's not
Oh
just
yeah,
because
okay.
of guilt. It's you are looking at a situational factor.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, all right. So okay. So you want to note down anything before we move on to personal?
Yeah, I'm gonna note
All right.
down a few things that I missed.
Okay.
Could you repeat what I missed, like the last part of the cost of helping,
So
like the part?
basically, yeah.
Yeah.
So basically,
Uh-huh.
the higher the cost, the less likely we are to help. Right? Costs can include time, effort, and danger, and we will help if the cost to the victim is higher than the cost to ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
However, this is often to avoid guilt. Yeah. But I
Okay.
already
Okay.
explained like why it's a situational factor. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.